Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Hope everybody's having a grand day. Get it? Grand. Got an M1 Garand here. I've had this rifle for a few months. I got it off of a friend of mine through a trade deal. I don't know who benefited the most. I won't say I benefited the most because I've never had one. Now I've got one. This is a real nice example of the Springfield M1 Garand. Barrel and receiver are circa, 1943, 44, that somewhere right in there. However, the rest of the weapon is updated. This was originally a CMP rifle. I've got all the paperwork, all the documentation. It's even got the barrel run out for the barrel. It checked really good. And when I got this gentleman, he hooked me up with a box of ammo. So me and Caden, we've shot this. It's actually a pretty sweet shooter. It's fun to shoot. It's a 30-06. It wasn't overpowering like your typical deer hunting 30-06. From everything I've read, the Garand 30-06s was a little less powerful. When these guys, when these right here were built, the barrel and receiver and the gas ports and stuff really wasn't chambered for modern 30-06 ammo. So in the beginning, there's a little less powerful. This rifle shot like a dream. Handled nice. It's real fun to shoot. It's kind of a tricky son of a gun when you load it though. You have to pull back on the action. And I'm not going to do this on camera because I know YouTube frowns on showing blood in the videos. Take the clip, load it up with 8 rounds. And by the way, I did figure out how you could load 3 or 4 rounds in here, stick it in there, and go back to firing. So you don't necessarily have to load up a full 8-round clip. And this is a clip. It's got that ding when you drop it on the floor or whatever. But you can load up ever how many rounds you want to, less than 8, and still fire this, still load it. It's a little tricky, but it can be done. Me and Caden did it, and it wasn't too bad. You just have to really watch your fingers. It's hard telling how many fingers were chopped off back when these guns were widely used. These guns were developed. A guy named John Garand, a Canadian-born fella named John Garand, he come up with this idea. It's a great idea. I don't know, it's a fun shooter, but I don't know if I want to carry this on a 10-mile walk or storming the beaches of Normandy. This would be better than having a sharp stick. I mean, it's an awesome weapon. Shoots great, but it's rather heavy. This is a pretty beefy gal. It's pretty heavy. You know you've got something whenever you're tugging this around. So, this probably wouldn't be my preferred choice of a firearm to carry at a long distance. Now, if I'm standing in here in my shop or in the house and I'm defending my domicile or just whatever, you know how it goes. This would be a really good choice. And a person could probably get to where they could speed load this pretty quick. I can't, because I like having a thumb. But I'm sure with the amount of practice, you could get to where you could load this up pretty fast. Really accurate recoil. Where this is a heavy rifle, recoil's not bad at all. I would probably associate it with maybe a 243, something like that. Maybe a little bit more than 243, but not much more. I mean, it's not horrible. It's tolerable. Very accurate. And this happens to be, it's a very beautiful gun. People come in here, when people come into the shop, the old 600 Auto Arms and Ammo, when they come in here, this is almost the first thing they gravitate to. They see, hey, is that a Garand? Yes, it is. And I love letting people look at it. A lot of people hadn't never seen a true M1 Garand or M1 Garand, except for maybe at a gun show or something like that. people just naturally, when they walk through the door, people just naturally, their eyes go right to it. A piece of history. But these were developed for the old WW2 action. They also saw action in Korea and also Vietnam. And what research I've been looking into, been doing, they're still used around the world today. Probably some countries that didn't have much money back in the day, probably still don't have much money, probably end up getting a heck of a deal on boatloads of retired U.S. M1 Garands. So they're still being used. It's an awesome platform, but to me, if I've got one flaw, it's just heavy. It's just heavy. If you're carrying this, you're carrying your rucksack, you're carrying everything else, carrying your 2 cartons of Pall Malls or Lucky Strikes, whatever you was carrying back in WW2, your cigarettes, your chewing tobacco. If you're carrying all that, you know, you've got a pretty beefy rifle you're also carrying across your shoulder or ever how you're carrying it, and ammo, plus ammo. So it's a pretty heavy gal. Just wanted to show this off, let people take a look at it. And if you live nearby, if you want to stop and actually look at a M1 Garand, be happy to show it to you guys. It's got the metal butt plate on the stock there. I've been offered several times to, hey, will you sell it to me? And multiple times I've either priced it to where I sort of figured nobody would buy it, or I just flat out tell people, no, I'm not ready to sell, which I'm not ready to sell. I would sell it, but you know, these are going for stupid money on the old GB auction site. And I don't really want to sell it as of right now. I'm not finished playing with it. I've only shot this. Me and Caden, we shot through a box of 20 round ammo that this gentleman hooked me up with, and I'm not done playing with it. Am I going to deer hunt with it? No, absolutely not. Am I going to shoot it some more? That's going to be a hell to the yeah. It's fun to shoot. Really fun to shoot. When you start shooting, when you start pulling the trigger, that fairly soft recoil, it's a pleasure. But that's what I've got for you guys today. I want to take some close-up video, so stick around. Like always, thanks for watching. Stay warm, everybody.